What should the church do when a woman discloses abuse? Where I get to hear stories of colossal harm that is done to women when they disclose abuse in church settings. And so today I want to address some of those harm that occur in church settings and give some help with the woman who is struggling and is struggling to disclose, is having to leave her church, or the pastor or the leader who is here and is not sure what to do. Or if you're just a member and somebody disclosed abuse but you're not sure what to do. So this video will help you. If you are new here, my name is Joanna Daniel. I'm a trauma-informed counselor and the founder of Wounds to Scars. We help people who experience childhood trauma and women who experience abuse to heal and experience the compassion and the joy that God designs that we should have. So what should the church do when a woman discloses? Usually the church does nothing. Sometimes stories that I'm hearing is that when a woman discloses, we're not sure who to believe, and she will lose her position in church. She will lose the position that she used to have in church. For example, if she was in leadership, they would take away leadership positions from her. And this tells me that people aren't sure what to do. They don't know that they're victimizing the victim when that happens, right? So we have to be really careful. We have to be keen and listen. I've just finished a webinar. I do a webinar every day at 12 o'clock on Zoom with my community, and we just finished one around how to forgive the narcissist. And we looked at it at the beginning of that webinar. I looked at gaslighting and some of the things that are gaslighting and the things that people have to forgive. And when you are familiar with the cycle of abuse, you won't struggle who to believe. And so that's why it's really important to know the cycle of abuse, to understand gaslighting and what people do, to see how perpetrators use gaslighting to devalue people, to minimize their pain. They will say things like, I didn't say that didn't happen, you're mistaken, you're overthinking, you are something is wrong with you, you're too sensitive. Now, if you're listening to somebody, if you're a leader and you're listening to somebody share the story and you're hearing this consistent pattern, then there should be no doubt as to what this is. So what should you do when a woman discloses abuse? You should listen, one. You should direct her to support, number two. And number three, you should safeguard her. Now, I know that in safeguarding policies, people tend to know that people are becoming more comfortable with safeguarding SA. And even people who experience SA usually really struggle, but we have this view of marriage that makes us value marriage more than we value the people in the marriage. And so that's why when a woman who discloses abuse, if she is married, the marriage is more important than her. And so that's one of the reasons. So another thing, leaders, is you cannot make marriage more important than the people in the marriage. That's number one. Not number one. I think it's about number four now. You can't make the people in the marriage less valuable than the institution itself. God designed the institution. We know that. It is a sacred institution. We know that too. But God created people in his image. We are what Jesus died for, not the institution. And so we really need to be careful how we're treating women. People, mostly women, I'm going to say women. I know women are not the only ones that experience abuse, but I'm going to say women because the massive proportion of victims is women, right? So we need to, leaders, listen, safeguard. And what does that look like? That might mean you may need to challenge your very good friend, or you may need to challenge this person who is very helpful in the church. You may need to challenge them. You may need to, safeguarding her might mean you may need to ask him to attend another church. Yes, I said that. You may need to ask him to attend another church. And you may need to do a follow-up with the church that you're sending him to let them know. Okay, safeguarding doesn't mean that you ask that woman if she wants to worship somewhere else. That should never happen. Because what is happening when you do that is you are perpetrating a second wound on that woman. So now she has domestic abuse healing from, and she's also healing from spiritual abuse because of what you did, because of what your board did. So those are things that you should do. Safeguard her, protect her from the perpetrator. By the time you hear, this woman would have been living in this life for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years by the time you know. Here's what you don't do. You do not tell her, what do you do? It takes two. It doesn't take two to abuse. It takes one, the perpetrator. So you don't ask her, what did she do? Or what could she do better? Or any one of those things. You don't ask her those questions. So should both parties stay in the church? No. Safeguarding her means that he may have to leave, or they sit on opposite end of the church while somebody is being extremely vigilant that he doesn't go anywhere near her. Because if he goes anywhere near her, he is going to harm her. And maybe he won't harm her physically, but he is going to harm her by the words that he said that you will never hear. All you will see is somebody that appears really pleasant on the surface. Okay. So the perpetrator should leave church and find somewhere else to worship. That is what should have happened. So, you know, in this, doing this work over the years, I've heard some outrageous things that pastors and leaders have said to people. Just forgive. The disclosure happens and you say, just forgive. He is such a nice guy. He's such a nice man. Just forgive him. I am praying for him. I am praying for him. Those things are extremely harmful to victims. So these are some of the things that shouldn't happen in churches when somebody discloses abuse. Or God hates divorce, because that's not what he said, right? That's not what the verse is not saying. That. Take some time and study out that verse. God's hate divorce. You can't leave your husband. He's such a nice man. You can't be a single parent. And that woman will be bombarded with statistics of single parents and their children and the result of it. And what we don't find is anybody talking to the perpetrator and giving them direction and advice about what to do and how to be decent, upstanding members of the church or society. So also, you shouldn't force victims to step down from their position. I mentioned that earlier, or stop their ministry, or that they can't serve. That's you threatening. That's you creating a second wound. So as I'm winding up, what should you do, and what should the church do when a woman discloses domestic abuse? You should listen. Number one. You should safeguard her. Number two. That might mean perpetrator has to go to another church. That might mean ensuring that he cannot go anywhere close to the victim. That might mean providing safeguarding somebody to be with her all the time if the victim's life is at risk. Sometimes people's lives are at risk. This is what we're dealing with every single day. If there is an injunction out against this person, they cannot be in the same vicinity with them. That's what that means, right? And so safeguarding the victim means you may need to not disclose the location of where they're living if they tell you where they are. You will not be able to disclose it to anybody, not the board, not the church members meeting, not your leadership team. If one person in the church knows this, you cannot disclose that to anyone because you could put the victim's life at risk. Okay. Safeguarding means you listen with empathy and compassion. And, it also means I absolutely believe in capacity. And that means that if you do not have the resources to listen, that means you do not understand abuse. You do not know what to do. You do not know the services that are in your area and what's available to victims. That's absolutely okay. I am a proponent of capacity. So that if stuff is going on in your own life and you're not able to listen, if you can't, that's okay. Hand this person, pass them to somebody who can. Refer them to an organization that can help to look after them. Put your hand up and say, I hear you. I'm really sorry, but I can't help you. That is okay. I think people really appreciate that level of honesty versus the opposite when you listen, you want to fix it by sending somebody home. You want to fix it by having a meeting with the perpetrator and the victim. You want to fix it by telling the church and the church board. You want to fix it by telling her that she can't serve anymore. And in that trying to fix it without the right tools, you are creating a second wound for this victim. If you're struggling in your church or in your organization and you do not know the signs of grooming, you don't understand narcissistic abuse different from other types of abuse, you do not know how to listen with compassion, and you're one of those persons that don't have capacity and you want to learn and understand, Wounds to Scars provide CPD training for churches and organizations around understanding abuse and grooming. And the link will be below this video of how you can access our next training that is coming up September 22nd to the 13th of October. Thank you for watching this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel and share this resource with those you think will benefit.